Hi there, welcome to the latest news discussions within the Noah Presgrove case. This time round we're taking a look at Jan Friorillo, an individual that was key in the past for giving those offers out, it's like legal fees or expenses, in hopes of getting someone to talk, reach out with valuable information which could lead to justice for Noah, possible conviction. And although it didn't really seem that successful, Jan has spoken out once again, breaking her silence, but I believe it's to do with a different topic. So we're going to have a closer look at it today. It's in relation to another Facebook account online, something to do with a person called George. It'll make more sense in a second. But welcome to those that are currently hearing this live premiere. It's Halloween, so just put this on. It doesn't fit, to be honest, because I think it's more like a child's one. Doesn't fit on my big head, so it's probably going to fall off at some point. Later on in this video, I'll probably do one little whip about, because shout out to Cleo for support on this channel, and she also said a bit of healing needs to be done, so I think that's what can be done, and maybe Cleo heal the door as well, not mine literally, but yours. I think that should be a good idea. But before we jump ahead there, we need to focus in on Noah Presgrove, of course. So welcome to those currently hearing this live premiere. Share your thoughts and opinions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen. Let me know your thoughts and talk about a range of stuff. If you want to, share your thoughts at the end of this video, drop a comment down below and I can respond back. You also find a pinned message by me with additional links if you do want to support this channel. And if you want to catch up on recent coverage by me, top right corner of the screen where the eye symbol is, you click up there, you get the drop down menu box with the playlist and some additional videos. With that all being said, just to give a very brief backstory, this is kind of like a viewer requested one from Justin Roy. This is located on the case discussion page, a very new post by Jan herself with screenshots, receipts. We're going to take a closer look, try and understand what's really going on, the caption, and maybe look at some of the comments. Then if I can add on with my own thoughts, who knows, I'll try and do that. We'll just spread awareness as to know what's really going on. How badly does it impact the case? Is it a background thing, public, whatnot? Let's get into it right now. Now, this was one day ago. You can see Jan's comment there. We'll just click view more. We'll just read the caption first of all. For new members who may not know me, I came to learn of Noah Presgrove's case in May. Like most of you, felt compelled to do what I could to help see that Noah gets his day in court and is responsible for his death, and anyone who may have compromised the truth and or his criminal case brought to justice. I have been and continue to be invested in keeping the spotlight on this case and the public engaged in the conversation about his case. I had made an offer to pay for a legal pathway for witnesses or a witness to come forwards with or without culpability, and or to pay for digital forensics on any devices that could provide evidence for the prosecution and or plaintiffs representing Noah's estate in a potential future civil case. My offer expired August 15th, to which I'm not at liberty to discuss, so please don't ask. I'm still very much committed and continuing pursuing other potential avenues behind the scenes when I can, in an effort to see that the full weight of our justice system is served to any and all who have participated in any injustices. Now, take in mind, whilst Jan does say August 15th was when my offer expired, it was actually days before that when her posts were taken down. So it didn't exactly expire. Action was taken before that, but we don't know why exactly. In my pursuit, I've met many wonderful, compassionate people who also want to see justice for Noah. You know who you are. Those who share the same commitment easily stand out on the various pages dedicated to Noah's justice. I'm referring to the Facebook pages that actually have Noah's name in their page group title. I've also encountered some not so nice people, just a few, whose priorities do not seem to be Noah Presgrove or helping those trying to help the case. On July 28th, I received a messenger direct message from a man I had never had a conversation with, never had a conversation about him, did not know him from Adam, and certainly were not Facebook friends. After receiving his messages, I immediately blocked him and screenshot his messages to me and sent to several admins on Noah's pages. I also reported him to Facebook. No action was taken on any of the account that I'm aware of because my offer was active at that time. I decided to ignore it and not give this man any attention. Since that time, I've learned how this man operates in the DMs and how he has convinced a lot of people into trusting him, which I guess is like the situation with Justin Roy, who thought he could trust this said individual, and we'll show it below as for the person. I'm showing a screenshot of his messages to me, and you can all decide for yourself. Not only should no members on these pages be verbally attacked for their differing points of views, but we should also not be privately threatened or bullied in DMs either. I'll reiterate that I do not know this person, but his name had never been mentioned by me to anyone up until that point. This is how George Choden represented who he is and his character to me, and his behind-the-scenes cowardly verbal abuse, bullying and threats through Facebook Messenger DMs to a woman whom he has never met, never had a conversation with, never mentioned his name, to whom he was told that his name was never mentioned by me to me from others. I did not respond by returning messages to him. In addition to his messages, George also attached several screenshots of him discussing me with other people, and I blacked their names out due to privacy. Fair enough, it makes it easier for me as well when relaying this. Just like the events that led to Noah's death, what happens in the dark will be brought into the light. So, I think there's been previous conversations, encounters with George by other people online on Facebook, and it's not been great. I came across George once in the past who had a few negative things to say about me, my coverage, my channel, but that's just typical human style because it's not just George, it's several people over time. So I'm quite familiar with that type of behaviour. But I think there were some claims made by people claiming that George Choden is working with some of the dark forces out there or is secretly Brooke Bounds Carter. All kinds of different claims, right? But let's just see the photos as supposed proof documentation. It is on the left-hand side. I could possibly try to zoom in, but then again, I don't know because of the screen resolution and aspect. So just let's just work with what we've got here. Point of view from Jan Friorillo, in which, who started the conversation first? From the looks of it, George Choden did. July 28th at 10:46 p.m. Hi Jan, is there anything you'd like to share with me directly? What does that exactly mean? I've heard from multiple people my name coming out of your mouth. Please share with me. Multiple people, including those that you and I both converse with. So please tell me why you are suddenly bad-mouthing me. You either tell me now or I will let this explode. Sounds kind of threatening, almost like a suicide bomber in a way, but yeah, interesting. If anyone's got additional backstories or you've had encounters with this person, you can always leave a comment down below. The very same people you've been conversing with have been filling me in about this Jan background chatter now. You got to know why. Don't F around with me. Are you legit into justice for Noah? The same media you've done. I can show them all the buzz you've been spewing about me. You should have had the decency to DM me directly. I'm skilled at what I do, and how dare you attempt to throw shade at me? I can easily throw the same shade back at you 1,000% more. Yes, and I'll hear back regardless if you respond or not. Personally, I don't know what's going on here. Is this all the big catalyst behind Jan's offer online and, trying to get people to speak out? Because just from what I've witnessed, I don't remember seeing Jan talk bad about George. I just don't remember it. What else do we have here? I'll start posting publicly if you don't clear this up. Why my name come out of your mouth in any discussion? So there's some screenshots there, but it's just too small to be reading. Non-disclosure agreement, really. Who the F do you think you are? By the way, offering to pay for legal expenses, I can buy and sell your ass 20 times a day, so best your aim to impress a bit better. Why is it a competition? Weird. You blocked George. That's pretty much it. So obviously Jan wasn't sticking around too much to listen to this person's responses, but it sounded quite full on. A little bit threatening, tense, demanding answers, having conversations with us in the background. It doesn't sound too good. Can we see the screenshot maybe? Not really. It's too blurry. Nothing I can do about that. That's just dodgy Facebook. So that's pretty much it for that. do we have any relevant comments? We'll just keep it to most relevant for now so we don't go too deep. Thank you for sharing. We know who you truly are and what you're doing regardless what the made up guilty profiles say. Christina says, this is not okay. So you had to deal with this. This has happened to others too. Not from George, but from other people, and it's never okay. And Justin Roy says, from others. Like who? Do share. Christina, not my place to share. Not done to me. Yet you speculate why. So right now, Brooke Bounds Carter would say more lies from you. Court show and prove just a liar. That's exactly what she would say. Others made the same comment on this thread as me about being harassed. Did you question? I must intimidate the shit out of you because you just can't leave me alone. So it's interesting how Christina Thompson shows a bit of a sensitive, understanding side towards Jan Fiorillo, but Christina Thompson is kind of, in terms of what they believe within this case or stated, they've made a few mistakes, to be honest. Take in mind that I have done some previous videos looking at certain comments and made a couple of corrections with language and wording. What does Melanie say? I had no idea he talked like this to you guys in private. I noticed he seemed to change lately, and especially after the fight with Michael Facecast. I think it was in regards to Vanessa when all the BS went down. I was wondering what in the world was going on. Right. This is awful, Shannon Sullivan. Also, to answer your question about if I had noticed or not, I was paying attention, but I had no idea. Right, okay. Michael Facecast says to Christine, Cameron, Tim, Daniel, can you both see this comment? Jan said she has never had Christine blocked. Oh no, we got the block train, unless there's accidents. Justin Roy says, Jan, I'm sorry he attacked you like that. I was just trying to calm him down. He was so mad about the NDA, non-disclosure agreement. He couldn't stand it, but it's my fault and I should have never told him about it. I also should never have trusted him with information as well. I apologise for that. I thought George wanted truth and justice for Noah, but I was wrong. There's definitely something else going on with him. This is all just a game to him. I've seen how he talks to people and now he talks about everyone on here. It's very weird to me. I should have noticed it way earlier, but he manipulated me as well. And to be completely honest, at one point I thought he was ex-LE or a private investigator, but I just wanted to help. He literally did background checks on everyone, including LE, Kathy Bingham, PI. In fact, he did background checks on both sides, everyone. But I did notice he got very mad at Vanessa. He could not stand her. Is that Sam? Where are we at now? Half the people on here now, he told me not to trust or that they had fake accounts. So again, I apologise for even trusting him. That's my fault and it will not happen again. I mean, if George is so problematic and it caused so much damage and trouble, wouldn't the easiest thing to be is to just like block the individual or cleanse others out there? Because as long as they've got access to these pages, then they can, you know, pass info on to elsewhere. And if not that, they can just simply reach out to people better, gain people's trust, and then possibly screw them over afterwards. There's ways of looking at it. I know, like with my YouTube channel, yeah, you can just block people left, right, and centre, but you don't always want to do it because it feels a bit controlling and you want freedom of speech. But if it ever gets too disruptive, damaging to yourself, causes you problems, or whatever you've created, then maybe some direct action is needed at times. So it seems like a couple of people have fallen for this George character. I mean, the first time I came across him, it was a negative encounter. Isn't that typical? Story of my life. Anyway, the only thing I can really pinpoint back in July, August, he started inboxing BBC. I guess he started eating up what she was feeding him. I know he doesn't want this to be a murder, and truthfully I don't either. There's just too many weird unanswered questions. Well, if people are on the same wavelengths at times with whether that be cause of death or hoping it's not this and it's just an accident, because it would be a horrible thought if it was by Noah's friends or someone he cared about or knew. At the end of the day, if there is ever attitude issues or resistance, you've always got to be cautious of that as well, because if you care about the case or you just simply with common sense want some kind of resolve, by going against it or being problematic yourself or towards others, how much good will that do? Not really. So, you know, I think people can't always control themselves. We just go through this briefly. Christina, so the NDA he's mad about, is that something he signed? I'm also assuming you signed an NDA to not speak about certain things. Justin, no. And Ellie got everything I have, regardless what anyone said. No, he didn't sign anything, and I have no idea why he got mad. Literally had nothing to do with him at all, which is why it's weird. Yeah. If it's got nothing to do with you, but you get mad about it, is that because you're linked within it? You feel it applies to you? Kind of like how when I do my videos and sometimes I just talk in general, people get triggered and say, why are you talking about me? Obviously I don't mention anyone's names, and I could respond back and say, why do you think the whole world centers around you? Why do you think you're part of the problem? Unless you are, but I'm unaware of, and you show some kind of doubt or thoughts within, that's why you think it links. There we go. Kim, you won't hear or see it until trial. It's definitely not for the public. The only agenda and misinformation ever pushed was the hit and run theory. And who do you suppose pushed that agenda? Don't worry, we're not going to get through all the comments. Where's BBC and the Co now with all their smart comments? Little off to me. She's doing so much to try and help. Jan, maybe you can post a list of people you're accusing of having a fake account with no proof. What's this all about? Right. You can pause the video at any time if you want to pause it. I've just got to be careful with timing. Vile post. Right. Okay. Here's another. Justin Roy. No, I haven't been paying attention much to Robbie. There's just too much fake profiles. Yeah. Has Jan messaged you? No. I've not received a DM from Jan ever. Wait, I'll check spam. Is this like the point of view with Justin Roy and George Choden or someone else? I have no clue, to be honest. What's this? Yeah, okay. You can always put it. To be honest, it just gets too heavy, to be honest. It's important to look at, I know, but go through all this. So basically, short story is Jan Fiorillo, from the looks of it, has been attacked and to an extent harassed by this George Choden account, who appears to be a bit of a problematic troublemaker within the community in general. And then there's like other discussions going on as well. So let's just leave it there. That's pretty much it for that. You can see some of the photos and stuff. We don't have to just end there because there are some other discussions and bits and bobs going on further up. Just got to try and find it first of all because it's all spread out, which is annoying. Didn't sit well with me when no proof was found. He was not on his back. It said the driver was not on his back. He's been described in a fetal position. Fetal position, but at the same time, I've not heard that mentioned since. Because at least when for example, when the police guy came down, Jimmy Williams, he said that Noah's arms weren't tucked in, kind of implying no fetal position. And Caden Pressey basically said that Noah was on his side, sprawled out, his legs and arms. So I don't see any fetal position mentioned there. And I'm basing it off from what we've heard more so in recent time. It's kind of eye-opening in a way. As this one, just wanted to let the group know that the golf clubs have not been returned to the family, as this came up in a discussion earlier today. Right. What's this one? 11 hours ago. Not tracking. Is this a recent one or an old one? I'll have to look at that video. It's on YouTube anyway. Every bit of Facebook activity. Australia backpacker. What the fuck's this all about? Groups might like. No, I'm okay. I don't know what silly stuff it recommends. And here we go. One of the latest ones. I thought I'd just include this because it's off the cuff. Wasn't expecting it. Brooke Bounce Carter has done a post 1 hour ago. Here's a screenshot of Justin Roy and Officer Wright. Oh, Zachary Wright. Well, we've heard his name mentioned in the case in the past. Text exchange. Looks like someone is spreading lies also. Please note his message about the kids. I highly recommend you ask Justin or Michael for that matter to show proof of absolutely anything they claim against kids. Not hearsay because we all know he makes lies up as he goes. If you haven't noticed, see if you get proof with evidence. Also, before you even start, yes, he shared this message to numerous people, so nothing was hacked to get it. What? So Brooke Bounds Carter is saying Justin Roy has shared this screenshot, what you see on screen, to multiple people, and that's why able to get a hold of it. Okay, let's just read briefly. It's a bit blurry, unfortunately. So who is who? You got a green box, you got a blue box, a grey box, whatever. Do you think murder or accident? Either way, there was a cover-up that happened in both scenarios. You're really doing nothing but making this harder. If there was a cover-up between those kids, they're doing a good job. If there is no cover-up by law enforcement or anyone being paid off, frankly, you're saying I'm friends with people down there and I'm being paid off is disrespectful. You say we need new eyes on the case all over social media, but what you don't know is several agencies and eyes are working around the clock on this case. I have several other ones that require my attention as well. If you don't know something, maybe it's best just not to say anything at all instead of spread misinformation. Have a good day. So that must be Zachary Wright. I mean, in terms of the names, it's limited because it's through Apple Messenger. It's not like Facebook or Twitter DMs where you can see people's usernames and stuff like that. This is supposedly the point of view from Justin Roy. You can always leave a comment down below if you feel the need. Just back out of that. We might as well check the comments, see if Justin Roy has responded. We'll do all. More threats from BBC to the family. I would back off you. Push a mama bear so far in a corner and she won't have anything to do but start swinging back. And when I say she has stuff that I assure you know his family doesn't want to come out, I would just keep my mouth shut. Yeah. I mean, it's a fair one. It is a threat. Brooke says, bless you, are you embarrassed now? Should I post the message of you saying you were fixing to get charged with interfering? Also, to add the pic you posted, do you want to add the comment that I was replying to understand my reply? Interesting. Very. I mean, in the past, when I covered it, Brooke Bounds Carter said that, yeah, that comment, she apologised to the family of Noah Presgrove. It was resolved. It was all okay. But still, you know, for it to be said, even if it was a mistake or heat at the moment, it's a very specific threat warning, isn't it? So maybe there is dirt on someone. Who knows? Mike, yeah, lots of misinformation being spread and police know more than people think. The facts of the case released to the public are a few, but enough to have an understanding of the case. People ignore the facts. Justin Roy, and to clear the air, that was months ago. I'm sure more information has come out since then. Still scrambling to cover everything up I see. You know it won't work. Just keep showing your true colours. There's literally only two scenarios what happened, both a very bad felony charge, so enlightened us. Which one was it? We all know, you know, the truth. Have a couple look at the responses. Brooke says, poor Justin, people are seeing your lies and you can't handle it. I get messages daily from people saying, wow, Justin really is a compulsive liar and trying to blame these kids. Poor Justin. If I knew, you'd think police would be beating my door, not telling me I'm fixing to get charged. Now, just as a heads up, if anyone's wondering, who is this Brooke Bounds Carter? Who are they? Well, they're a long-time friend of Stevie Howard, and Stevie Howard being the mother to Carter Combs, Avery Combs, or known as Avery Howard, right? Justin Roy responds, I don't think you're being honest at all. I think you have personality disorder or you let multiple people use your Facebook account. So which one is it? Is that so? So you're a fraud and people see it. What's that all about? Blurred out. Hi, Brooke. I've seen one of the few that has kept all doors open into what might have happened to precious Noah. I'm certainly not a follower just because someone said something. It was great having you back into the group, as well as Tiffany, Christina, Andrea, Robbie, June, etc. You all need to use your voice in these groups. The shit show that Justin Roy, Michael Faze, Kaz, as well as others, does V mean Vanessa, are creating in these groups is terrible and all for attention. This is not a game. This poor kid lost his life. I don't believe that any of the kids murdered the friend, but the damage these groups have done and continue to do them will be a lasting effect on them. And then something's blurred out. When she posted, CC photo, Carter Combs photo, as well as Jasmine, but there are some of us that can see what's going on but are afraid to speak out for fear of getting booted, or you keep doing what you've been doing. I don't know what that is as for context. Probably from you to yourself, that's how you'll roll. Huh. You see this? Wonder what else? What's this one about? Oh, this is George. She, for some reason, thinks I'm knowing things I told her no, not the others don't know. When she accused me of being Ellie in Texas, that was a compliment. Oh, so she's winning you over with flattery. George said, she knows I'm a local woman because certain things. Too bad, Brooke, I do. Yeah, she's full of shit. And she thinks I'm full of shit, but toss that aside, she's a gold mine. She said herself, I'm an expert to evaluate the staging claim to debunk it. Right, we got that. Oh, now we got Dusty Butler, not seen them for a while, says to Brooke Carter, I think that's the point. You don't know the truth either. None of us know everything that happened the night. We're just trying to follow the evidence and keep this case relevant. You could very well be defending people who had something to do with this. The only thing that the public knows is there are more questions than answers that night, and everything being presented by the partygoers has multiple contradictions, I can promise you. These kids and their parents would have stayed silent from the word go. There would be not as much negative attention towards them. They've assisted in creating all the drama that has surrounded the case. So, certain family of family or friends of friends or partygoers, whatever. Some have come out with threatening language, direct threats in the background and public. Let's not forget Carter Combs, who said, I'm going to beat the duck out of you. Remember that in the Instagram message? Just things like that. It doesn't look good on them. Some people have dug themselves into a hole and then complain afterwards as for all the stuff going on. It's like with, kind of unrelated, if I got did dodgy videos and then I was getting clawed apart, I'm like, whoa, no, well, I just shouldn't be too dodgy then, you know? You put so much in, you get so much out, and it's just like when you reach out to the general public for help, you want their help, you want their voice, but then if you push them away afterwards, you can understand why they might feel frustrated. Because it's like, oh, you've been used, only used when the time's needed and then disposed of afterwards. Could be seen as a bit rude. So, once again, if you want to pause it, you can always do that. Ken Press's name tagged. Justin says, I personally think she does know more than what she's saying, just by her wording and cockiness. They're to push the hit and run theory hard. Brooke Bounce Car says, interesting you stating a point for me, thank you. Had the parents stayed silent so parents don't need to come on here and defend their kids, I think it'd go for all parents to top that off. Have you sat back and looked at why they need to come on here? Who is the common denominator in all the drama and lies? Sassy Pants Justin. That's a different word. Justin is the reason they had to come on here in the first place, to explain that. Also, we grew up together. Don't tell me, had you or one of your siblings been this, your parents along with mine wouldn't do the exact same thing. Don't think I don't want this solved. I do. I want this for his family and for him. I also want this for the kids. I mean, if you care for this and care for that, then why the threats, and why do other people use threats? And if you care for progression made, then why do some feel the need to push others away? Yeah, it's kind of like how, at least on YouTube, small scale, I try and keep this case alive, try and spread awareness, but then other people, just strangers, random people who may have a good life or better off than me, or just normal or seen as good people elsewhere. Yeah, it happens. And yet they kind of question me or have a go at me or turn on me. It's like, and what's the point? You know, you might care about the case or you might be interested. What good attacking me will lead to justice for now or some kind of outcome? I don't understand. It's just a bit random things going on. Well, that's another lie. Y'all tapped me back in September, October 2023, and yeah, from Steve himself talking about the parents involved, and now if my son was involved, he would have gone straight to the police. What's this about? And trust me, if some of his horrible parents had been involved, there wouldn't be a body in question. Yeah, that's basically what Stevie Howard said in the past. And I know no names mentioned here, but if you look at the full context screenshot, you will know. And it's documented on my channel. I think what the problem is, and this is just in general once again, some people may cherry pick information and screenshots. It could be truthful, it could be relevant, but the full context isn't there. It might have been cut out, names blanked or not included, or all of the screenshots not shown, or the full conversation or thread not shown. So it makes it harder to try and understand it, especially when you're looking at it for the very first time. Brooke, honey, do I need to draw things out for you? You started the entire murder thing on the kids. You've been the number one mouth behind it. You just change what happened every month when your BS gets debunked. She paid to debunk it. Hit and run has been ruled out for months. Okay, so you got that there. Dusty, no matter what, these kids were going to be brought into all this. They were literally the last ones to see him alive. Do you know what? I'm sure I can add my thoughts on him very shortly. Don't worry, I'll try and do that. How do you love Noah when he stated he didn't even know Noah when he was alive? That's really, really weird to say. Okay, Dusty, you're trying to defend him. Dropped it there, and yes, you're correct. Right. Let's just leave it there, because you can always pause the video if you want. Why are you here? Screenshots aren't helping in any way. 95% of us that Justin is here for the right reasons. The same 95% know why you're here. Right. That's pretty much it. Scroll down. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Any more posts beyond? Yeah, Michael Facecast. Did BBC really hire an expert in an attempt to debunk the roadside staging hit and run scenario? George says. She, for some reason, thinks of many things I told her. This is yeah. Right, so I think Justin Roy reshared this then in the previous thread, so it's not from Justin's point of view, it's actually from Michael's, it looks like. Is it? Well, maybe it's not. I don't know at this point. She paid herself for an expert to evaluate the staging claim to debunk it. She shouldn't have to ask me why I think it was a waste of her money. Quick look at the comments. Oh, she definitely won George over somehow. I'm sure her $250,000 salary probably helped, I'm sure. And just a couple of comments there. Okay. Let me just add my thoughts on right now. There's a lot to try and process there. There's a lot of heavy text, comments, paragraphs, and normally I read through them all, but I'm trying to adapt with time. Not everybody will see eye to eye with that, but it is what it is. I've got a general idea as to what's gone on. Catalyst behind George's little outburst, tantrum, that supposedly Jan or some others spoke bad about George, made references about him. He found out somehow, some way, and demanded responses from Jan as in what's been said, why, and what not. And then, secondhand, reacting to Jan's offer in getting people to speak out and cover legal expenses. As for George's attitude, I can do it 20 times more to pay for this and that. Why the competitive attitude? It's almost along the lines of what some have said in the case. We've got deep pockets lined. Okay, good for you. And then some others, oh, I got a really high paying job. Okay, good for you. And, you know, what's this really leading to? Is it just evolutionary competitiveness? Is it a form of trying to diminish the efforts of others? Is George really George in his profile picture, or could it be a female in disguise? Who knows? Anything's possible at this point, in this case. But maybe if it hadn't been for some kind of possible miscommunication or claims of someone speaking bad about George, then maybe George wouldn't have responded or reached out in the first place, because he's the one that initiated the conversation from the looks of it. And Jan had no clue who he was, or they. At least from what I've seen, Jan has not spoken badly about George Choden. Because if Jan doesn't know who George is, then likely Jan wouldn't have mentioned or referred to him at any point. I've heard other people refer to George in comment sections. I've referred to him briefly because of being a bit of a problematic individual with an impetuous mindset when it comes to the outlook of my channel and whatnot. But they won't be the only or the last one. I've come across others with time, so no change there. But still, I've not really seen any bad from Jan Fiorillo, only that her offer, which expired 15th of August, was taken down days earlier, which raised some eyebrows. No clear explanation was given. You could take it as maybe it did lead to something or maybe it didn't. With the non-disclosure agreement, it means it just can't be talked about. So you'd think something must have happened. It can't really be talked about that clearly. But then again, if something has happened, we're not really seeing much movement on this surface level unless there's a process to it all. Time will tell, of course. As for Brooke Bounds Carter, going out from Justin Roy, and Justin Roy defending himself and BBC defending herself, back forth, like how others do within the case, it's quite clear that people will never be on the same side or work together, which is perfectly fine. At the end of the day, we can work separately. That's probably for the best, just like how it was in the Dylan Brown's case, but obviously people couldn't do that. Like at times, or maybe in past cases where I might have had encounters with someone and it's been a bit negative and I've not really agreed with them, or thought they're being a bit, problematic, but I'll try and work alongside them, or just try and keep my head down for the sake of getting some material to move on and to work with the case, or to learn or understand. Kind of like that, where you try and put other things ahead or of more importance than the current issues, what may be going on. But there is always a time and place where you might have to defend yourself, or call out someone, or defend yourself against someone publicly. Certain party goers, the family are family, friends are friends, parents who may speak out online to defend their children, guilty or not. That's typical normal human behavior. You'll look out for people, look out for ones tied by blood and people that you may know, care about, like, whatever. It's all normal. I think, honestly, when it comes to that justice page, the one by family moderated, really no drama over there, but that's because it's heavily moderated and strict. Is there as much discussion and activity? No. So what comes with good? There can be some weaknesses that come with it, but then other negatives are eliminated by the positives of being strict. At the end of the day, different pages for different people. You want it really close to the facts, supposedly, you go to the justice one. You want more of a deeper look at the possibilities and extra research, which can be a bit loose at times, but can also be helpful other times. You go to maybe the army page, and then maybe the discussion page. No harm in looking at a range of different ones, compare, contrast the notes and what's being posted. But obviously with the more looser ones, with more freedom of speech, there's higher chances that things could go wrong. But take in mind that ever since, the army page is private, the case discussion page is private, and yet look what's going on. People are under attack, there is conflict, there is drama, and that's on private pages, which you would have thought there would have been a bit more of control and cleansing, but it's just not happened. But at the same time, sometimes you need to keep your enemies closer to monitor how they behave, how they act, what they say and do. So there's that. To refer back, one thing that was mentioned, such as by Justin Roy, in the early days, and it was referenced on Partners in True Crime, the first interview and the only one that he did, to my knowledge, on YouTube, he said how in the past, whether it be the justice page or the army one or the other, family members, party goers, witnesses, people like that, key individuals, were present, were communicating. Even Caleb Newton answering questions, back and forth, communication, healthy, working out somewhat well. But then as soon as time passed by, things went wrong at some point. It might have been the justice page where supposedly either people were kicked or posts were deleted. So anything that was archived, key discussions, screenshots were just wasted, thrown away, which is a great shame. And Justin said it's a shame as well, because it could have been helpful in the future. But, with whatever remnants are still about, we take a look. But the Carter Combs screenshot about the shower situation, never heard of that, saw that before until just recent. Maybe we do a standalone video on that. I'll have to get a hold of that screenshot anyway, because with new device and resetting shit, I've got to try and find it again. It's annoying, but I'm sure I'll be able to find it. I mean, all in all, right now, things may have worked to an extent in the past, and ever since, it's just become a bit fragmented, and that can't really be fixed, realistically. The next step is just to kind of branch away, but that's just not possible in a case and community like this for numerous factors and reasons. I do understand that. Still, it's a good thing that I'm on YouTube, a bit smaller scale in numbers as well. Not as problematic, but unfortunately, because I'm cursed in life and I do jinx myself at times, me simply saying that something probably is going to backfire, or there's going to be like conflict or a major fallout, or something bad will happen next. But then again, I think that's already happened elsewhere in the Kenny Veach case, where a person completely acted out, which maybe I'd do a video on at some point and just set the record straight, because the way humans change up so quickly, that's problematic. If humans can change up so quickly, there's just not that stability, whether it be with them themselves or the environment you might be in surrounded by them. It's just not good. But still, it needs to be highlighted. Any other final points? I mean, it's like with certain people within a case who've issued out threats or threatening language. Maybe at times it could be a mistake, but most of the times the threats do seem either direct or personal or thought out. You know, specific threats. It's not just a simple, oh, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna mate you. Ooh. No, it's more like, you want to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Well, we know a couple of details which specifically link to you, which you will not like if they're revealed. It just gets a little bit too close, as if they may truly know something, or they're trying harder with intent to think of something that will throw people off or scare people away. And when there's more effort put in, effort for the right reason or the wrong reason. What I am slightly disappointed in, just as a side observation, is that with the recent videos that I've covered, more raw, natural, harder hitting than ever, mentioning points, pointing out questions which have never been talked about before, very, very, very deep. Ain't quite hitting the nail on the head as for YouTube and awareness, statistically speaking. I don't know why that's the case. I'm not too sure if it's because the videos aren't as good quality in the eyes of some, or just YouTube isn't pushing them quite the same now, or that the case has reached a point where it's just not as popular as you may know. Regardless, some of those videos I do find more helpful. Not that I get headaches, but when you're looking at so many comments, especially the paragraphs, it's just like how at times with the comment section on my channel, as good as it is for people to spend the time to write comments up and messages, it requires effort, and it's good of people to do that. When reading it out, or reading it out loud, or just using your eyes, so much to take in a short space of time, especially if it's ongoing things, which there's references from the past which you've never seen or heard before. This video was just to spread a bit of awareness. Okay, maybe not as deep as usual, but just a bit of awareness so people know what's up. Jan's activity levels, commenting recently, and some problematic people in the background, and people with their counterpoints. It's back and forth, a bit like warfare in a way. So what's the next step then? Because I don't think this is just going to fade away. In the eyes of people on Facebook pages, what is the next step? To keep it up, the back and forth conflict with possible problematic people? Is blocking them a bad idea because it just means they go underground and it's harder to trace and track them? Things like that. Could resistance back lead to them attacking harder and more nasty next time? Depends, doesn't it? Obviously, you just want to work on the case or just learn about the case without all the background noise, but it's just not always possible. Like the Dylan Rounds case, yeah, I did my thing, I looked at my stuff, but even when I did that, people still had some things to say and false claims made along the way, and I had to stop for a second and just set the record straight or clear things up just so it didn't escalate anymore. So sometimes people may cause resistance, not always to scare you off, but just to slow you down or slow the progress, and that's obviously not a good look, is it? But don't worry, there's been times where there's been roadblocks, but besides doing a video about it, I did a video in the same day about more important things. I don't just completely halt everything in those like moments, or at least try not to halt it. So with that all being said, that's pretty much it for that. There might be more conversations and discussions which follow, but yeah, it's a little viewer request so you can see it from different points of views and perspectives. Hopefully you found the video somewhat interesting, a little bit explosive in a way, and yeah, that's it. All I'm going to do now, just because it's Halloween, and it's important to do so because, you know, Cleo said she needed like some kind of healing session, so we're just moving away from the Noah Presgrove case right now, transitioning on to something different. Just going to do a healing for Cleo because I've been very patient, supported the channel a lot for quite some time. Definitely need to do the healing. And to be honest, the timing of it is probably perfect, isn't it? With it being Halloween, with the witch hat, Cleo herself, witch emoji, all coming together. And the owls as well on this robe. So without further ado, I guess we begin. As for the door in the background, I'll be seeing to that as well. Why? Well, we're using it as a symbolism to represent Cleo's door, the pathway to whatever. So as for direct references or diagnosis, not needed, because this will be able to find its way around and probably resolve the issue anyway. So you just stay where you are, Cleo. You don't need to move whatsoever. As for the choice of tool, we're using this one, high resistance, but colourful too. Maybe represents one of the colours of the Aftercare Care Bears, who knows? But I'm sure you will like this colour, and it probably matches the colour of the custom witch's emoji hat. So here we go. We're getting straight into it. We're not beating around the bush. Well, something's being beat. Yeah? Come on. Yeah? I think Cleo said she prefers the downward dog, just to stretch, you know, any aches, any pains, loosen up a bit. So the downward dog going down. There we go. Not as intense, because it doesn't need to be overwhelming. A few magical taps here and there can make pain dispel, and for one to gain more control. Is that right, Cleo? Is that good enough? Yeah? Let's see to that doorway over there, because Cleo said her door holds back the knocks and the taps if anyone tried bursting on through. So let's strengthen, reinforce her doorway and any other doors that are needed. Okay? Got the witch's hat on. Obviously, you won't be able to see or hear really much going on, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to fix that doorway. Yeah? Come on. Yeah. Fix the arch there, and there, and there, and there, and the handle as well. Brilliant. That will work. That'll be fine. It's all needed. It's all needed. So, Cleo, I have reinforced your door. It's bulletproof. It's stab-proof. It's car-proof. An F-16 fighter pilot will not be able to crash through your door. Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, will not be able to peek through the keyhole. It's all fine and under control. You don't need to worry. And then just what we'll do one more time, we'll do the Holy Whip of Ref 316. Thou shalt not whip until needed and necessary. And as for Cleo, who's waited very patiently, it's now time. And because in the name of Texas, we're going to be doing the special Texas Tornado one. Here we go, Cleo. Get ready. Wind up. Yeah. Yeehaw. Let's go. Halloween special 360. There we go. The shade of purple, glowing and pulsating. There we go. So that should be it. And there you go, Cleo. You want a hat? You said Cleo wanted a new hat, so there you go. Okay. You caught that? Good. Good catch. So that is it for now. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Goodbye and good night.